Jade. The American Empire's falling.
Oh,
We're in a weird time right now in the world.
No, keep that image up.
Keep it up. Okay, keep. I had to pull it back up because it was actually a photo I just had, so I had to find it in my gallery in my computer. There it is.
Keep it up.
Yes,
we're gonna keep this up.
This is from
people need to
over
fucking
the weekend.
see.
This is from over the weekend, when Trump's tariffs went into place that we talked about last episode.
Well, they didn't really go into place, did they?
No, they went into place, and he took them off. Some of them.
Yes.
So there's. Oh, I shouldn't pull up an article for the specifically ones he pulled off, but I was just gonna talk off it on memory. But I probably should bring up an article. Do you want to explain it while I'm doing that? You want to explain that?
All right. So Trump said, "Hey, everybody, even the fucking penguins, are gonna get tariffed.
Right.
All of you.
Yeah, and that was what we talked about last
episode. I'm gonna put tariffs on Lesotho. I'm gonna put tariffs on islands you never fucking heard of. I'm gonna put tariffs on an island where the only people who fucking live there are the American Air Force. Get fucked, everybody." And then less than 12 hours later, he said, let's put a pause on that.
Only
after the economy's had all the time to crash.
So the pause was only on 75 of the countries. It's not known really which ones were here. I have yet to find. I've looked through several articles since he said this originally, and I have not found a list of the countries he pulled it off of. But I know that countries like, I think Japan, maybe, and the UK, I think, any country that wasn't retaliating, anything that has been lifted, I'm pretty sure.
Japan specifically, I would like to just take my own little side tangent on this. America's history with Japan is incredibly fucking intricate, and I don't think that Americans understand just how much.
It's really interesting, America's history with
Japan. There are more American army bases in Japan than you've ever fucking heard of.
Yeah, because it's like right next to North Korea, it's right next to Russia, it's right next to China.
Not only that, but after World War II, America just basically went, Japan is your ass now, and we own it.
Right. There's a lot of interesting stuff there and stuff.
Because Japan couldn't do anything else to basically save themselves, they became a tech giant economy. And when I say tech, I don't just mean computers. I mean like washing machines. I mean like everything that runs on electricity. What's it called?
Toshiba? That's like one company. Toshiba,
Sony,
Dell. No, Dell's not Japanese.
When you think Sony, you think like PlayStation, you think like Sony Pictures.
TVs,
it's like Sony makes everything.
Fucking yeah, they make some.
That's my side tangent.
Yeah. Plus cars too. Cars are another huge export from Japan. Like fucking Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, Mitsubishi, Suzuki.
I own a Toyota.
Toyotas are really reliable. I have a Honda. A Honda Accord is what I drive, and it's very reliable. I think it's like 2012 Honda Accord. But yeah, there's a lot of
even you own a Japanese car.
Yeah, Japanese cars are very fuel efficient and they're very compact and small.
My mom owns a Japanese car too.
They're very good. I would fucking love a Suzuki. I was gonna buy a used Suzuki. I forget what model it was. I should have probably saved a photo of it somewhere, but it was like this little red Suzuki that was like really tiny. It was a 3-door hatchback, really nice and everything. But I didn't get it because I wouldn't have been able to pay off the payments and also afford school for it. It was an old used car, so it wasn't going to be that expensive. It was like pretty affordable, but considering I was also doing school, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. And that was the best decision I made, I think, in the past year, because I definitely would not be able to afford that. Judging by my current
I'm not going to dox myself by showing my car, but this is basically my car.
Oh, let me pull off this. Oh wow, yeah, I think he's shown me a model of it before. I like this.
Yeah, Toyota Taz.
It's really nice. But yeah, like Japan is a huge exporter to America, for stuff like electronics and cars. But the tariffs, yes, the tariffs.
This is the biggest insider trading gambit in the history of the entire world.
Yes, but only for a select few people. It's not like big as in like the amount of money being, like the amount of like coercion, not like as much as like the scale of who's in on it, because it's definitely the most exclusive insider trading racket at the same time.
Yeah,
So I want
Trump,
to.
Elon wasn't in on it apparently.
So that graph I showed. Oh, Elon. We can talk about Elon in a bit. And but that graph I showed was of over the weekend. The current look of it is this. This is what we're currently looking at. It's still really red. This amount of red is still absolutely awful for the economy. Good for accelerations everywhere. Utilities are up. Buy into Constellation Energy Corporation. Buy their stock. Buy
Don't
into
buy
Hubble.
any stock at all. Buying into stock now is
Walmart.
like,
Buy Walmart. Unless you're also like only some of the Walmart though.
are you giving stock tips on those podcasts?
Yes. Well, I mean,
Like,
Trump was
don't do
giving
that.
stock tips. I'm not giving stock tips. So, this is what it's looking like just for the S&P 500 for the world. It's looking pretty bad. China's economy, or China's stock market, I should say, not the economy, the stock market kind of crashed. Japan's is still doing bad. All of India, or all of Asia is pretty much doing bad in Oceania. The UK is fucked. Netherlands
Keep
staying
green on
strong.
Africa.
South Africa, Gold Fields
Oh, look,
Limited,
we didn't
in
drop. We
Harmony.
didn't have a stock market crash for
You didn't.
those.
I mean, these ones over here, kind of, but South Africa, Israel
Wait, can you
is a very
that big
size.
as it?
Sibani
What's that?
Stillwater, Sasol,
Stillwater, Sasol.
DRD, Sasol, DRD Gold, Osaka
Sasol's
Technology.
a fuel company.
That makes sense. For like a stock
They
market.
rely heavily on the oil price, which if it tanked in other economies, then that's gonna tank. But gold never went down.
Why does Panama have a stock market? I guess oil. Yeah.
I think the South African stock market is like
Well,
the
gold.
JSE,
Well,
Johannesburg Stock
gold
Exchange.
goes up because fucking panic. People are gonna invest in gold. Um,
Yeah, which is just good for me.
it's good for you. But yeah, there's like really like I think this is like a great way to look at like the fact that the stock market is not a real economy, because like
It's not.
Bermuda, Cayman Islands, fucking like a country like Germany has a smaller stock market than the UK. The UK makes nothing. Germany makes stuff. You know? Like it's like Taiwan. They make one thing, and that's why all their semiconductors are just one stock. You know. But
They
here's
don't just
Alibaba.
make one thing.
Alibaba is down 20%, which is fucking insane.
Taiwan
Down
makes all
20%.
those all that merch that says "Make America Great Again."
They do. They do. Canada's not looking too good. But yeah, like if you look in America, there you can see these graphs here. Earlier in the week, there's just a lot of peak up and then straight back down for a lot of these big companies. The big five: Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia. Those are the big five. Apple's still the only one really struggling, though Amazon and Microsoft aren't doing too great. Nvidia's picked
That's
back
weird
up.
because when this initially started like rolling, Apple was the last one to fall.
Yeah, which is probably why it's still having a trouble now, because it's still going through what these people were earlier.
Interesting.
But this
That
actually
is
kind of
interesting.
portrays individual. There's still too much green here, so I want to pull up. The Dow Jones and the S&P 500 at this current moment. So here's the S&P 500. Um, so when I first opened this up, like prepare for today, the stock
Go
market just
1 month.
opened. It was over here. We'll go in a second, but I opened it up. It was like just starting, and it's only gone down. Like when I last night, people were like up until last night, because the stock market had a bit of a rebound. People were like, I could show you, but it's like the 1 month. This is what we were looking at earlier. This is right here, and then it went down. It stalled a bit, went down more, and then yesterday, like Tuesday, Wednesday, all that, they were like, oh, there's a rebound, and then we're instantly back down. We're instantly back down.
It's a scam. It's a
You
scam.
can see it more specifically here that it went up and then it went back down. And now here it is today. It's not doing good. And the same is true for the
It's
Dow
a scam.
Jones. Here's it in the last month. Here's it in the last 5 days. And then here's it today. It's just they're plummeting. And fucking good. I'm happy they're plummeting. The stock market is
Do
not
you
a real measure of an economy at all by any means, but it
It's not a
does.
real measure of anything. I
It's
mean,
all it is a measure of people's, like, the rich people's wealth and the rich people's, like, happiness. It's
yeah.
basically what it is. There's actually also the VIX. The VIX. I should probably pull. Oops. Sorry, not the VIX. The VIX, which is, I fucking hate. All right. The VIX.
God, right.
This is the VIX. This is not a money thing. This is a measure of how much people are scared. The volatility index.
Volatility index.
So when this goes up, that means people are really scared. As
Yeah,
far as I
well,
know. So, I mean, yeah, you can look at this. This should not look like this. If you look at, like, I
yeah,
don't know,
no.
like the
The
last year.
volatility index looks rather volatile.
Oh. The last time it was this
So this is
volatile was
all.
like
This is
August. I
this
don't
is
know what this
all
was.
linked to like Trump wants to boost something called the GDP,
Oh, wait, no,
right?
August. Well, hold on, yes, 1 second. August 4th. What happened this day that made the stock market go crazy? I don't know. Maybe it was something. I don't know. Oh, wait. I think it was a hurricane. I think this was a hurricane. And then this must have been. This was like, I don't know. Elon doing Hitler salute. I don't fucking remember. Anyway, continue with your point about the GDP.
So, do you want to hear an interesting fact about GDP?
Yes.
Did you know that in almost all cases, the higher a country's GDP is, and the faster a country's GDP grows, the worse the living conditions for general public is in a country.
Really?
It's like a little weird little thing, but
Do you mean like the
if you look
faster
at
it grows, you say?
yeah, like if you look at a country, let's
Okay.
take China for example, right?
Yeah.
Like since they're the big ones in the news. China's GDP is fucking always like amazing, right? Their
Yes.
GDP is like, holy shit, look at China's GDP. What's it like for the average
Well,
fucking factory
I
worker
think
in China?
I think China is a little more of an interesting case there. I would say a better example would probably be somewhere else in Asia, but China had
You mean
a
like India, which also has
India.
like generally
Yes, I think
GDP.
India would be a better example because China is comparable to where it was in the 70s. China is like a paradise compared to where it used to be. People have been lifted out of so much, like, there's a middle class has been created in China, but
Yes,
it's
but China
still
also
like
there's an issue in China that people don't
the
really talk
average
about, which
standard of
is their
living.
infrastructure is yeah, standard
Yes,
of living. That's the
outside
term I want.
outside of cities is abysmal in China. There's no
Yes,
infrastructure out
but
there,
even
but in
in cities,
cities it's comparable to Americans, I think.
no.
Yeah,
You
like
see
some
how
cities, like
America
Beijing,
has
Shanghai. Yeah,
you
yeah,
see how America has started to have like an infrastructure problem where a lot of
yes,
your like actual infrastructure is starting to
like
fall
our
apart.
roads and bridges and shit.
Roads, bridges, like buildings, shit like that.
Yeah.
China's is 10 times worse.
Oh, I'm aware of that. Yeah, I'm aware of like building
And
collapses and
the
stuff all
fact
the
of the
time over
matter
there.
is like shit's breaking because when the GDP goes up, what's happening is that they're not really reinvesting that money into the stuff. Because if you have a low GDP, you know, kind of means that you're not making a ton of quote unquote profit.
Right.
But countries, governments are not meant to be profit run.
No, they're not. They're not.
Like,
It's why when Trump
look,
says
I
shit like "we'll
understand
make
that
$1 billion,"
America is a couple
like,
of
but it is
billion in debt
3 trillion, I believe, because of Reagan.
because of Reagan. Once
Yeah.
again, I'm a fucking Republican, but either way, countries don't run like that. But they also shouldn't run on a profit basis because what a government is supposed to do, what a government's end goal is to improve, like in a utopian fucking world. A government is meant to improve the living conditions for the people who live under that government.
Right. Obviously.
This is not true in places like America.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like Trump was just talking about, like, we're gonna make $1 billion a day in this country, and it's like that's not how a country works. You don't make $1 billion as a country. That
Like you're
doesn't that
supposed
you
to be
didn't do
putting that
anything.
money back into the country. You're supposed to be spending that on like maintaining forests so they don't have forest fires. You're supposed to be maintaining infrastructure so your buildings don't fucking fall over every time the ground
Or into
suddenly like
healthcare so your
tremors.
people don't die. Or oh, nice Tremors
Like
reference.
life
You're referencing a movie
expectancy.
that I actually liked showing you.
I know. I thought I'd throw that in there, but either way,
Throw me a
yes. So a
bone.
country is not meant to actually run in a quote unquote profitable way. If
No.
anything, you want your country to break even.
Yeah, because that means you're
That's it.
you're you're getting enough to supply people, and you're also doing enough for people with that money.
The thing is that breaking even doesn't equal a big GDP.
No, no. Yeah, I see what you mean though, especially with the quick growth of it, because that just basically means that like a few people are making it really rich. You know,
Yeah, the
it doesn't
capitalists,
necessarily like reflect the standard of living
the
increasing.
right. So there is like there's always the old terminology, the bourgeoisie, the upper class, but that's like very antiquated language. What we're talking about now is something called the capital class.
Well, it was always called that.
Yeah, but like it is now reaching towards late stage capitalism.
I think we're already there. I think we're already there.
No, no.
It depends on what you think
Shockingly,
of it to
no.
be. What if it's like post-capitalism? What if like that's what we're working towards?
Post capitalism it would be a good thing.
But what if post-capitalism is also like everyone's wearing hazmat suits because the air is toxic? Because fucking
That
Exxon
might
was
be it,
like
but it wouldn't be capitalism.
Exxon's like we're gonna
Because
just explode the world.
post infers after
True,
capitalism.
true. What country do you think will? What
So
company do you think will end the world if there was a company to end the world?
if there was a company to end the world
On purpose or on accident? It could be either.
on, on purpose or an accident, look, I do want to lean towards like a lot of the oil companies, most likely.
Yeah.
But honestly, the way things are going, giant tech companies, but not for the reason you think.
Is it's not well the reason I'm thinking is
We're not
because
looking at like a Terminator end of
no,
the
no.
world. We're not looking at like AI taking over or
I'm
anything.
thinking
It
of
is linked to AI.
I'm thinking of the human like Skynet nuking everyone, but instead of robots doing it, it's like a CEO who gets really upset and does it.
There's that, but I think it has more to do with the fact that these supercomputers they need to build, these like giant monolithic,
I think I
like
know where you're going with this.
remember when computers used to take up an entire building?
Well, I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't remember, but
I wasn't
look,
there.
I wasn't around. I'm not there. I'm not that old either. But there was a
Photo of
point where
Jade at
computers
the
used to
those
take up
massive supercomputers at an entire room with like a little fucking pen and paper
they
writing
used to
down the
take
Morse
up
code.
an entire building.
Right,
But we're reaching a point where we're building the computers with today's technology the size of office buildings.
right.
Like giant warehouses that are just basically
Huge
one
underground
massive
complexes in like Wyoming and
computer.
shit that are just server farms for like the
And they
internet.
take tons and tons of water,
Yes.
which is dirty by the time they're finished with it,
Hmm.
which means that they're poisoning the earth
Yes.
because they don't know how to clean or dump that water safely.
Or they do know how and they just won't because it's expensive.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. But they also take massive amounts of energy to run.
Yes.
Like
Which also requires
massive amounts.
water and shit to
Like nuclear power station for one facility levels of power to run some of these places.
Right.
Well, it's not quite there yet, but that's sort of like where we're heading in my thought of like if there's companies that are going to end the world, that is kind of like the route it'll go.
That's definitely the more realistic end goal, but like, wouldn't it be fun if some oil company was drilling in the ocean and they awoke some like ancient evil or some shit like Pacific
You mean
Rim?
like unironically the Pacific Rim
Yeah.
end of the world
Yeah,
scenario?
like aliens coming through a portal.
You know what's really cool about that?
uh, Guillermo del
South
Toro.
Africa not really being anywhere near the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, that's true. You're next to the Indian Ocean.
Indian and Atlantic.
Yeah, yeah.
Cape Town has two oceans.
Good for you then. Good for you.
We we
You
we
get to
have
skip
the
it on
big
the aliens.
aquarium here. Like, you know, most big coastal cities have like their
Oh, of course,
aquarium.
yeah. We
The
do
one in
too.
Cape Town is called the Two Oceans Aquarium.
That's a pretty good name. You know, I shit on zoos a lot. I hate zoos, but I like aquariums. Aquariums are cool. Aquariums are pretty. Maybe it's Animal Crossing
They
influencing me.
they have their own
They have
they have
issues
their
normally when they take
own
in mammals
issues.
and like larger fish and like sharks and stuff. That's really pretty.
This is at the Two Oceans Aquarium. Like it's actually like very
Aquariums are
yeah,
really
it's at the
cool.
V&A waterfront. This is a very, very like high. Yeah, you can see it from the outside.
Nice, nice. I want to pull up a photo of the Camden Aquarium because that's the best aquarium that I know. There was one in Point Pleasant called um, Jenkinson's that got in a lot of shit at some point for being awful to their
Underwater
oh,
creatures
spider
are
crabs.
fucking weird.
Camden Aquarium has hippos.
Underwater creatures are fucking
Look
weird.
at the hippo. Hippo.
Oh my.
Yeah, they were cool looking. They have these tunnels too and stuff.
It seems
Camden.
like very weird to
Oh,
have
they
a
have a shark
hippo
walk.
at an
You can
aquarium.
walk over the shark tank. There's sharks in there. I remember that. Hippo.
Somebody's like, well, we have sharks.
Yeah.
Although sharks in South Africa are usually found around
Scuba
Durban.
Santa.
Why?
America. It's an American
Of
ass
course.
image. Fucking.
And of course,
Uh,
like a hippopotamus doesn't feel like an aquarium creature though.
it's not really, but that whole section of the aquarium is like land aquatic animals, like otters and stuff. They had. I'm pretty sure they had
Like
a
it
fucking roadrunner. Now that I mention it, I think it's like part
is
zoo and
very much one of the most dangerous animals to be stuck one
oh,
on one with.
hippo. Fucking Jesus Christ, yeah. It'll crush your skull.
That thing will fuck your shit up.
They're so
Crush your
cute.
skull, that's the least of it.
They're so cute though.
You
But
just like fat things.
shut the fuck up. Shut up. They're cute though. They're
No,
really cute animals. Same with
you
fucking
got
bears.
something.
Same with polar bears. Polar bears are like the some of the most like coolest animals ever, and grizzly bears, like little grizzly bear cubs, are the fucking cutest things ever. Like just like
I live in
fucking
Africa. There's no fucking bears here.
like aren't these fuckers so funny looking? They're so cute. I want to hug one, but he'll rip me to shreds. He'll rip me
I
to
mean,
shreds.
I've seen people hug grizzlies.
Yeah, when they're Russian and they have like no shirt on in the fucking like middle of nowhere. No
No,
grizzlies
but
live
like
by me anyway.
a pet bear is not uncommon in the history of the world.
No, not really. But it's still scary though. Black bears though. Black bears live by me. Black bears are fun.
I like black bears. I
Black
think black
bears,
bears
yeah.
look nicer
Black
than
bears are all over my state.
grizzlies. I
Grizzlies
think
are
black bears look
fatter.
nicer than grizzlies.
You have a. I'm not
Does that mean you
saying.
like them more?
Yes, I'm not saying. Do not. I'm not saying to hug a black bear. But if you were to hug a black bear and hug a grizzly, you'd have a much more likely chance of getting mauled by the grizzly. The black bears are funny
I
looking.
mean,
They're really
you
cute.
know,
They're really adorable. When I think of the woods, I think of a black bear. Mostly because they were on every fucking sign ever in every single park in New Jersey
it's
where it's like,
fair.
watch out for bears. Polar bears, though. These motherfuckers. These
There are no bears
motherfuckers.
in Africa. I just double checked. I looked online. Yeah, there are no bears in
Yeah.
Africa. Africa does not do bears.
We don't do bears.
We
You guys
don't
got
do
like
bears.
elephants and shit. Look at this fucking guy. They're so cool. They're like dogs. It's like a dog. It's
I
like a
mean, it
fucking
kind of
evil.
is.
It's like a scary dog. Hold on. And then there's also
Bears
sun
are
bears.
actually very similar to dogs now I think about
Yeah,
it.
look at sun bears.
Oh, I like sun bears.
Sun bears are great.
Where are they from?
They're from
They look
India.
Asian.
I think they're
Yeah.
Malayan. They're Malayan. Sorry, not Indian. You can see over
But
here. Yeah, this is where they're from. They're fun looking.
I see.
Yeah,
Southeast Asia.
I love bears.
It is the vibe they give.
I like get a list of types of prominent bears. They have huge tongues. They look fucking weird.
There's panda bears.
They're very similar to sloths. That's why I think you're getting that like.
Whenever somebody brings up panda bears, I always think of that one line. It's like this is a species this is the only animal that won't fuck to save its species.
They're fucking stupid. They like almost die all the time. They like fall out of trees and shit. Or bamboo trees and shit. Like they're so fucking stupid. But they're also like really cute. Like China has a great national animal. I'm not gonna like this being like the kind of the face of animals in China is like you guys they struck out. They got this shit in the bag. They're kind of like
Here's a
a
question for
perfect
you.
animal.
African elephant or Indian elephant?
African elephant. African
That
elephant.
is the correct answer.
African elephant. Indian elephants look like shit. I'm sorry. Actually, they're just smaller. They don't look like shit. I'm thinking of one specific. Yeah, I'm thinking of this where they have like hair on them and shit on their heads. Oh, that's dirt. Never mind. It didn't load
That's
properly. It didn't load properly. Where's the one with the hair on it? That one's ugly. I mean,
Elephants have hair like humans have hair.
what the fuck? No, that's not true. Yeah,
Yeah.
these things. This is kind of ugly.
Yeah. Elephants
What?
have hair like you like the hair that you have, like the parts of your body you think are
That's
hairless actually has hairs.
I know.
It's just very small and fine. But pull up African elephant.
They're very regal. They're so cool.
They are big motherfuckers.
They're so scary. Like this, they're scary in that like this thing could step on you. They don't even look real. Like I've never seen an elephant in person. I've only ever seen like fake elephants and stuffed elephants at like the National Museum of Natural History where they're dead. So I've seen real giraffes, but I've never seen a real elephant.
I've seen all of the big five.
The Great Adventure Six Flags Park in my home state has like a safari. I don't remember seeing an elephant there, but I do remember seeing giraffes and lions and stuff.
I gave a giraffe head pats.
That's really sweet. There's really no reason.
Fed it.
Oh, you fed it.
Yeah. Nice. There's a place not too far from Stellenbosch called Giraffe House.
Nice.
And you can go and like just feed giraffes. You gotta go like upstairs and shit.
Don't they kind of these elephants' faces? I look at them and I get the same vibe I get when I look at like an octopus.
That's weird.
Like I get like they're gonna kill me. Like this is
friendly.
This is the face of like Cthulhu.
Like I'll tell you this, right? Like real life, wild elephants actually just wander, like the what are they called? Like
Herd?
national parks?
Oh yeah, reserves.
Shit, reserves and shit that you can go to in South Africa. The lodges that you stay at, right? Like,
right.
You know, it's obviously for rich people, but the lodges that you stay at, like you can wake up and there's an elephant at your window just being like, sup? Like they just wander about. They're actually very. Like,
I think a better way to put it,
their territory,
they will kill you.
They will fuck your shit up.
I think a better way to put what I was trying to describe is they look like they know. They look like they know what's going on.
They do know. They're really smart.
They look wise. They look like they know what I am.
Before African elephant, like look up baby African elephant. Yeah, these things. They're super cute. They're lovely.
So adorable.
Creatures. So don't go near a baby.
No, because the mom.
Baby in the wild. Do not.
I want to see if I can find a video because there's a video of a guy doing exactly that I really want to show you, and I never had a chance because I keep forgetting. But if I go to my playlist, I think I have it saved somewhere. At least I have the channel saved. I know that for sure.
But yeah, elephants are incredibly intelligent creatures. And you know that the whole thing of like memory like an elephant? That's real.
Yeah, really.
That's real. If you fuck with an elephant today, you come back 10 years later and you like try to go make friends, that thing will fuck your shit up
I
anyway.
found the video. So
You found the video.
it's a guy named Andrew Uklis who makes a bunch of videos like this, where he just goes out and
What's
fucking
up, though?
picks shit with animals. This video is from 11 years ago.
See this African elephant, which I've just came across. He's just eating some grass, and he's not
Oh
moving
no.
whatsoever.
He's Australian. That's your first mistake, buddy.
What they'll do is a natural mock charge. Like so. You see he does the mock charge? The second time.
I like to imagine like the
Like they
safari
say.
guys are on like a truck or something. They're looking at him like, fucking white boy.
When approaching African elephants, you should only do
White
so
boy.
making sure you have an escape route and your shoelaces obviously tied tight. Giving yourself a distance of at least 50 to 100 meters should be in most cases a good approaching range.
Oh yes. Actually, just on that note, these things can travel.
Oh, this is, yeah, as you're about to see.
How close I could get. And obviously, suddenly, he reacted. Pushing his way through the grass, trumpeting,
He's, for the size that an elephant is, right?
Something like that only want to make you run as quick as
Oh, look at
road
him coming! Look at him go!
Like, for the size that an elephant is, those things can fucking boost.
They're so scary. Also, I need to show you this. This is another video from him. This time was with a deer though. He like barehanded wrestles a deer.
I just looked it up. Do you know what the speed of an African bush elephant is?
No, but this feels like trivia. This feels like a good trivia fact.
It is a good trivia fact. You want to know?
Yeah.
40 kilometers an hour.
40 fucking, oh my god. How fast is a cheetah for comparison? I found the deer video also.
So that is 25 miles an hour.
Jesus. That's
They can
really
travel.
fast. Also, look at this guy.
And my adrenaline is absolutely
God.
After some continual chasing through the thick bush, I had managed to force him back into camera view. Like, I don't know why he does this, but he just, like, wrestles animals.
Because he's Australian. This is what Australians do.
Hey, relax. Relax. Feral deers in Australia are a consistent problem.
He kind of looks like another Australian YouTuber I know named Boy Boy or something like that. Or I did a
So
thing.
you asked about cheetahs.
Yeah.
They go between 80 to 130 kilometers an hour.
That's like what in
That's
miles?
So let's take the top end of that, right? Well, let's
Yeah,
actually take
120
the bottom end
kilometers.
of that.
80
let's
to
take
120.
80.
Yeah. What, 100?
That's about 50 miles per hour.
Jesus.
And the top end of that, the 130, is about 80 miles an hour.
Oh my god, but they don't sustain that for very long. That's the thing.
No, they can sustain that for like 20 seconds, 30
Yeah.
seconds.
They
really can't.
They can't keep up. They're
Like-
like Sonic the Hedgehog, you know? You just finish too quick. Mario's a slow
For
fucker. I'm gonna
comparison-
stop.
According to Google, the human top running speed, maximum running speed,
70,
right,
60.
is like Usain Bolt levels of running,
Yeah.
45 kilometers an hour.
Never fight a cheetah.
Give that to the
Never fight
no,
a cheetah.
give that to the elephant who can run 40 Ks, and the fact that Usain Bolt can barely break 45K. Like, you're not outrunning an elephant if it wants your ass. You're not. Like, as an average human being, let me see if I can actually find.
Pull it up on screen too. What the fuck is that photo? Put some clothes on.
Yeah,
boy.
it's about 25
miles per hour
kilometers.
or kilometers per hour.
Yeah, 20 kilometers an hour is considered fast for the human average.
and
Elephants
40K
go
for
at about
elephants.
40.
They'll kill you.
They will
They'll
outpace
kill
you. They
you.
will fuck your shit up. The only reason you're getting away from the elephant is because it generally just doesn't care that much. You
What
are
about
not a
rhinos?
high enough priority.
What do you
Rhino.
think of rhinos? Not even the top speed, just rhinos in general.
Well, I'm curious, but about 50
Oh
Ks.
God.
So rhinos are unicorns.
They are. They are. There's really no reason.
Unironically, my belief is that the whole unicorn thing came from some motherfucker seeing a rhino and just not
Yes.
understanding.
Yeah. But there's also really like no reason why a rhino can exist but a unicorn can't. And like I don't fault people for thinking that unicorns existed. You know, I don't fault them. But they're really cool. They're like Africa has like the best animals.
We do. We got the whole big five. Let's
The whole Big Five is the Big Five because they're from Africa. Like that's the African five, you know.
yeah.
Elephants, lions. I forget that thing's name. Yak. I don't.
Well, you call it a water buffalo.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I couldn't remember the African name for it. I knew it was a water buffalo.
Wildebeest.
Wildebeest. Wildebeest. That's what it is. Wildebeest.
Yeah.
Rhino
and
rhino and
leopard.
cheetah. Leopard,
This
not
is
cheetah.
not a cheetah.
They're so
leopard.
alike. So alike. Leopard.
Yeah, it is leopard. I'm not wrong. Yep.
Yeah.
Leopard is the highest like of our currency. Yeah, it's a Cape buffalo.
Cape buffalo or wildebeest. Bush cow. That's what I call
Yeah,
my wife.
These things are fucking huge.
I need to. Oh God, yeah. Oh, I don't want to see a guy who shot one though. I hate hunting pics.
Yeah,
man.
but that's I know you hate these pictures. This is just for size. But these things are huge.
That guy looks like Darman.
That's grim. And like that's
No, he doesn't look like
Theme
Darman. He
from
looks
Lion
like
King?
looks like Martin. What the fuck is his name? That guy goes like cocaina. No, actually, just flour.
like these things, that scene from Lion King where they all
Yeah.
stampede, like they are unstoppable forces of nature.
They're really cool. They're really cool.
What's your favorite of the big five?
Oh, elephant. The elephant, absolutely the elephant. Lions probably second, mostly because like lions are just cool looking, but also like I feel like lions are a little overrated, but they are cool looking. That's the thing.
You know what I like the most about lions?
What, the women?
They're a matriarchal society.
Yeah, but everyone confused them for being a patriarchal society. Like not society,
They're
they're
not.
not societal. Species, not society. Species.
So I'm saying society.
They're not a
It
society.
may not be comparable to human society, but they have a social structure. They
That's
have
fair.
like the ways they do things. They
That's
are
fair.
a society.
Well, it depends on your definition of society.
We live in a society.
I want to know what like
But
if there's
yeah,
a North
it's
American
like-
Big Three or Big Five. Sorry,
Big three.
I'm fucking illiterate. Shush. There is, and they're all Canadian. Bison, moose,
That's
grizzly
right.
bears, wolves, and polar bears. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, moose is definitely Canadian. Grizzlies are Canadian, but there's also a lot in America. Wolves are both. Polar bears are Alaska and Canada, and then buffalo are purely American. Buffalo are an American.
Bison?
Bison, sorry, buffalo, bison, same fucking thing. Buffalo Bill.
Not really, no. A
Shush.
bison and a buffalo are not really the same thing.
Bison.
These
Buffalo.
things.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm stupid. Well, American buffalo. Hold on. It's a bison. American. It's a buffalo bison. The term American buffalo mostly refers to the American bison. It's officially the bison, but everyone calls it a buffalo. Commonly known as the American buffalo. Yeah.
But these things, go to images on this. Just click on the images thing. These things are actually kind of fucking
I've seen these in
wild.
person. They're
You
they're all
have?
yes. I've seen these several times in person.
They're so broken proportionally. Like, say what you will about the African like Cape
It's like
buffalo.
someone drew it
This
like a
thing is
child drew a
broken.
fucking like wildebeest. It's like a child drew a
This thing
wildebeest.
is broken as fuck. They're like yaks.
They are like yaks. They
Like,
are
put
like
up images
yaks.
of yaks.
Yaks look
Like,
more proportionally correct though. Yaks look like correct. This looks
oh,
like a
look at this
fucked up
one on the
yak.
second line.
Oh my god.
The
This is actually kind of
like
terrifying.
they're not normal.
They're not
Like
normal,
below that
but
line,
the hair fixes it. If you have a lot of hair, it kind of hides
the
it.
third one on the this one. No, left.
Left, this one.
This one.
He's
This
got like
looks
shaggy hair.
weird.
They are weird
It's
looking. They're
weird.
weird. This species, like whatever the fuck family this is, it's really weird. That looks
Do you
like
notice how
evil.
off track we got?
Yeah, no, but it's fun to talk like this, talk about stuff like this. What are the other big five? It's
There's
moose. Moose are fucking huge. Holy shit.
moose. Moose scare me kind of. Number one, those
Canada.
horns are real big.
Oh yeah, no, they're size.
Antlers. That's what they
I just
call.
want to. I want to. Yeah, antlers. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
So have you ever played a game called The Long Dark?
I have not, but I've heard about it and stuff.
So in The Long Dark, right? It takes place in Canada,
Yeah.
and you encounter some of the wildlife. Now, wolves are dangerous in the game, obviously,
Yeah.
but you come close to the moose, and it will fuck your shit up more than anything else in the game.
Hmm. I would love to play that game. Like, what's it kind of play? It's like a survival game, like one of those like super hard survival like resource management type of games.
Yes,
I would like to try it
it's
out.
very much like, how can I say? There is a campaign, but nobody cares about the campaign, and the campaign is generally seen as not very good. But
Right.
the survival mode for The Long Dark, like, just pull up, like, I'll actually pull it up on my
Yeah, pull it up.
side. Because
Yeah. Oh,
so
it
it's
looks a
very
lot
much like,
different. It looks a lot different from when I last saw it. I must have seen it like really early days because when I saw it, it didn't look stylized at all. Really, it kind of
no,
looked
it's
a bit
very
boring.
stylized. Like, you throw rocks. It's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah.
things you do. But, like, it's very, very uh, chased down by a bear.
This
You
looks
don't
like
want-
something I'd love to play, actually.
Last image ever taken by this person. But it's a very cool game. Um, it's one of those that, like, it's not a survival game where you build. It's
No,
not
no,
a
no, no,
survival
no.
game like where you build up and try to survive like long term. It's really like day to day and doing things on a
Yeah,
grind.
I'd love to try
And
it then. Like resourcing out stuff and stuff. Yeah,
like
this
your
looks really cool.
resources are like, oh God, I've got a box of matches and a rock.
Oh, Canada. If I were to make if this were to be find a game that perfectly sums up your country, this is like Canada's game, you know?
This is Canada's
This is
game. This
Canada's
is
game.
I was watching, there was a guy who did a bunch of playthroughs of the survival mode and stuff, and he would joke like, this is just your average day in Canada.
Is it fair to say that America's game is GTA?
Yes, I think that is fair. Unironically, because look, GTA may have been like a parody at one point,
Not anymore.
but the way that your country has the direction it's taken is kind of very GTA-like.
Like just the hyper individualist style of gameplay of like guy with bazooka running through the streets and stuff like that alone capitalizes like and like some of the like some so there's so much like trashy fucking like character designs and outfits and behaviors and like gameplay like it's all trashy, it's all fucking white trash as
Yeah,
a
I
game.
think what epitomizes it the most is like GTA 5
Yeah,
is really a picture
trashy.
of America today.
Yeah, It's so
Like
fucking.
on release, it wasn't like that though. If anything,
Ah!
you could kind of blame Rockstar for edging people towards thinking that's normalized like culture.
That kind of puts so much weight onto like that though. It has to come. You can't just pin it
Everybody's
all on
like
one thing.
blaming video games for violence. No, I'm blaming video games for the stupidity of your culture.
I think it's more than
It's
just video. It'd have to be everything. It has to literally be everything. I'd actually
yeah,
attribute phones to most things.
here's the inventory screen for the stuff you have
Neat.
to wear. Very cool
Neat.
game.
Yeah.
I highly
Yeah.
recommend.
Also, we've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering recently. The past few days. That's been
We have
that's been a lot of fun. And Sari last night went for 17 hours. Well, hold on. I'm just gonna pull up the
on
Steam.
stream.
I'm gonna pull up my Steam hours for it in the last few days. So in the last 2 weeks, which has basically been the last week, it's been 12 hours for me. For Jade, it's been 19 hours in the past 2 weeks, and
You
then
want to know what's
for
even more
Ansari, it's been
horrifying about
17.
that?
Yeah,
My total playtime on Magic the Gathering is 23 hours.
yeah.
And Ceres surpassed that.
No, 18 right here. Total.
Yeah, but consider that my 23 hours is total, which means it includes the time I played
Yeah,
like ages ago.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Just
Well,
over the last few
well,
days.
that was from when me and you tried to get into it a couple months ago and stuff. Because you can
Yeah.
see that I had like 4 hours on it before this last couple days. I tried to get into it and didn't really click with it.
You clicked with it now.
I definitely clicked with it now. Why is JD Vance there? Yawgmoth's bargain.
Skip your draw step, pay one life. Oh,
He only craves only one commodity. It is his favorite magic, the Dethering deck. Well, can you click on that? Is it a whole deck? He explains. What the fuck is Vance's Magic
no.
the Gathering deck?
Do you understand
I
what this card
understand.
is doing?
I
Do you
understand. You
understand the
skip.
stupidity of playing
Yes.
this?
You only pay a
For
life to
6
draw a
mana,
card. Yeah. For 6 mana, you skip your draw step, and pay a life just to do your draw step anyway.
yes. It does give you the
I'm
advantage of drawing as many cards as you want for life.
yeah,
Like you can just mill your life
yeah,
for
and I'm sure
cards.
this can also play into an effect if you want to like I don't know any sacrificing life related things or any drawing related things. You can probably stack off of that, like because you're drawing out of a card. I'm sure you can like maybe like double the effect of a card or some shit. Like you can draw 2 cards for a life or something. Essentially, you're playing solitaire. I want to see his deck though. They're just
I don't
explaining
think they're
Magic the
gonna.
Gathering. Oh, wait, maybe. There's that main card there.
Yeah.
You draw after your community. You're not a wizard anymore. You're a ravenous vampire traitor, turning into blood into bullets at lightning speed. I just want, like, deck, man.
You could just look up this deck.
Grr. I thought the... Why did I think the Independent would have had the deck?
Uh,
The bargain deck.
yeah, so you got Academy Reactor. It's put into graveyard for play. You may remove
We probably shouldn't get so into this because...
Phyrexian Power, Colorless Mana, Heat Bug.
Heat bug.
Comes into play with 2 depletion counters on it.
Some of these cards are really fucking expensive. Holy shit. 290 for Academy Rector?
Yeah. Scourge Familiar. It's only got these 8 creatures. That's really like low
Well,
on
it's
creatures.
super heavy on spells though.
Yeah, very, very heavy spell deck. But you know what the most expensive magic card
I don't know the most expensive magic card.
is? So it's
Assume it's
so
old.
Magic did a crossover with Lord of the Rings.
Right. Oh, is it the
So
One Ring? Is it the One Ring?
the One Ring.
Yes.
is the most expensive at around 2 million.
Why?
But the actual, like, proper most expensive Magic card is Black Lotus.
Black Lotus.
Black
Mox
Lotus is
Cobra.
by far like.
What does the card look like? So if I see it in the street, I can know. It's actually
Basically
kind of a
looks
pretty
like
card.
this.
What does it do? Adds 3 mana
Adds
of any
3
single
mana of
color of your
any-
choice to mana pool, then is discarded. That's nothing. That's nothing, but it like
No, but you
It's-
see, the thing is, the reason that this was so powerful, so expensive, and banned in every tournament since the fucking 90s is the fact that if you pull this
oh, it's
first
0.
round,
Oh, it's
Yes.
0.
if you pull this in your initial hand, right?
Yeah.
You play a land, you play this, you tap it, you have 4 mana to play with. Round 1.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. No, I didn't see the 0 there.
Yep.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yep. Shiny.
That's so cool though.
A friend of mine had one.
Really pretty.
Somebody I knew had one.
Damn. Really pretty card. I like it a lot.
I like the art on the Black Lotus.
It's a few of them. I like the original one the most though. That first one there. That one's the
old
prettiest.
school one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've been I've only made 3 decks so far. 2 of them I actually am kind of proud of. One of them needs to be reworked to fucking hell. But the first one's a little rat deck that annoyed the shit out of Jade because it like saps your life without having to actually hit you. So like I could just hit you. All I have to do is attack and it saps your life. And then it also like empowers up a different card if my rats start dying. So I have a bunch of rats, and then when they start dying, it empowers a different card. And then the other deck I made is all about big dinosaurs that just kind of outpace you and trample you.
Your rat deck was really painful to play
But
against.
my rat deck has
with
been
my
completely
goblin
trumped.
deck.
It's been completely.
My goblin you have to admit, my initial build for my goblin deck was incredibly bad.
Yeah. But then you kind of fixed
it.
it.
Was a pure creature deck. It's kind of fixed.
You
was a
fixed it
pure
enough to
creature
where
deck
your
with
weaknesses have been addressed a bit
a bit.
by adding in
A bit.
and some enchantments and spells.
Mostly like sorceries and instants.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
really enchantment.
I thought I
Maybe
remember
I-
there being an enchantment.
Maybe there's one enchantment. I don't really remember.
I thought I remember there being
But,
like a 2/2 you give or something.
Then to stop your rat deck, I made a deck that made you cry.
It did make me cry. Mostly by pacifying the cards that actually needed to happen and then like petrifying them or just downright shutting down things. While also you get to because it's a white deck, so you have like 30 cards on the table with a bunch of tokens everywhere. And each one of them gives
And
you
it
more
does-
health and when you get health, one of your cards like, oh yeah, no, look at
Does
this.
things like that.
Look at this. This is fucking disgusting. You
This
played
is me playing against Anseri, where I ended up with 72 health and she ended up with minus 131 health. For anybody not familiar with Magic, you start with 20 each.
ridiculous. With only look how many cards are on the fucking table. Look at this. Look at how many there are. Look how many in your hand. Look at how many are in your hand. You could have been playing more.
Because I had cards that
Give
drew
you-
cards
yeah.
every time I gained health. Cards that buffed themselves every time I gained health. Cards that... What was the other effect?
It gives you whenever you gain health, you add 1/1 to one of your cards.
Anytime I play a creature, I gain health. Like that includes tokens, so if tokens are summoned, I gained health. There's a card that when it attacks, it summons tokens, so I gained health.
Right.
It really is just a life deck.
It's just a miserable deck. It's a life
I
deck,
love
yeah.
it. I
It's
love
miserable. Minus 131.
I love it.
Fuck off.
it.
Yeah.
I could have kept going.
Before we continue, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick because I really, really, really need to pee. But we'll be right back. And then when I get back, I'm going to show you something. All right?
Well, we're gonna move on to the third topic because I still gotta
Yes.
get to the store.
Yes, I need to pee. That's the thing I was going to tell you about. So 3,
Okay.
2, 1, snap. My ass is so fat. I'm back. I guess.
Welcome back, Riley.
Yeah. All right. So I wanted to show
Riley.
you. Yes. No, really. One day I'll become immune to it.
At least once an episode.
Time. Some people.
Oops. I fucked it up. I accidentally
Oh
fucked it up. I was supposed to show the thumbnail, and the only way I could really show the thumbnail is if I pull it up like this. Okay. So I wanted to talk about a thing that's a part of both of our lives, obviously, polyamory. Because me and Jade are polyamorous. We have a boyfriend named David. We've been trying to get him on, but he thinks he'll be too boring on the episode. So he hasn't joined. But we I've been wanting to talk about some more like personal topics on the show, whether in some
This
sort of
this
way.
is the deep cut.
This is a deep cut. So there was a video from a channel I like to watch, where sometimes his videos are misses. He made a video on cyclists and like the video wasn't totally against cycling, but he showed a lot of videos of cyclists getting angry and stuff. And I'm like a pretty big like, hey, maybe we should drive less cars type of person. And that video, the contents of the video itself were fine, but the way the video was put out was bad. Like the thumbnail and the title were pretty bad. I know. I'm doing this as a priming.
Okay, you're priming.
Because then this happened again. He made a video on polyamory. The video itself is perfectly fine. He talks about like some pretty bad cases, like instances of celebrities using it to like groom people, instances where it gets to be 30 people big and there's a bunch of like abuse going on. And he talked about that in the video. But the thumbnail and the title were clickbait as fuck, right?
Okay.
They were, here's what the thumbnail looks like.
Throw it on me.
The original title was Polyamory, the Death of Love. Now it's the confusing world of polyamory. But the actual video itself isn't that bad. He talks about like people who join it to like ruin people's lives and stuff, people who show up to like have fucking hierarchical like male dominated stuff. He talks about Sam Bankman-Fried and like Ezra Miller and stuff, like people who've abused people and stuff. But he also yeah, it was a funny name ever. But like in the video itself, he doesn't actually really like say polyamory is like a bad thing. He just says like it's not. I would find that to be bad because it's like I can't manage that, you know. But it's like that's like perfectly. But then like the people whomever makes his thumbnails and titles make this awful shit, and now I want to talk about like. First of all, I want to ask like, what are your opinion on polycules that get to be 30 people big?
To each their own.
Fair. I kind of figured that would be the response, but like,
look, I have very open views on this shit. Number one, if it's gotten to be 30 people big, I'm not imagining that all of those people are all dating each other.
No, that's kind of what they pulled out. They pulled up charts where it's like this person's dating this person, and this person hates
like
this one.
It can spread into a network, especially if you have somebody in there who's like believes in relationship anarchy. Which is one form of polyamory, relationship anarchy. And you have, like, they're dating somebody who's in a throuple, and they're, like, part of the throuple. But because they're also connected to, like, somebody else who also believes in relationship anarchy. And then, you know, it can spread out. Like,
I'm sure if you drew out a chart from, like, me, you, and David, it would probably get pretty big. But we're only, like, the three of us
my side of it is pretty fucking small.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
The most important aspects come down to number one beyond anything else is everybody is consenting.
Yes. Yes. Of course.
That is number one.
It's number one in any relationship.
Just as important, but I'm going to put it at number two, is communication.
Yes. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. I feel like fucking half of relationships fail because people aren't fucking talking.
Yeah, and that the communication thing, both of those aspects are just as important.
They're kind of related
in monogamous relationships.
Oh, well, yeah. But like The two of them, they may as well be the same fucking point because they're incredibly tied together.
Because
in
it's
times.
informed consent,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That's what you want. Informed
and also,
consent.
but also in like communication also goes outside of the realm of consent. Also, just like telling people how you feel and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
people don't fucking talk to each other. I've been
They
seeing
don't.
I've been seeing a lot of content that's kind of like rage bait, and like dating content. It's like one of the biggest fucking things that floats around on the internet, and so much of it is centered. I mean, so much of it is straight monogamous relationships. Which, if you're a straight woman right now, God bless you. It's tough. Also, straight guys too. Get your shit together. But also, like, some of you guys have it rough.
Straight guys really do need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
But look, it's the intention
It's the
behind, right? Like, here's the thing: is that there's the intentionality behind it. So there are women out there who are
Mhm.
bisexual,
Yes.
pansexual, or let's just put it in the category of not straight,
Yes.
and they date a straight guy,
Then they
and
become a
then that
lesbian.
guy goes, no, like that guy goes, oh, my girlfriend likes girls too. Woo, isn't
Yeah.
that hot? Woo. And then they start getting this idea that they can basically do what they want and say like, oh, my girlfriend, like she brought this girl home, and then like it becomes
Yeah.
unicorn hunting. It becomes very much like the one thing that I hate the most in polyculture is the OPP.
The OPP, one penis policy.
The one penis policy. I am 100 and thousand. I'm 100,000% against the one penis policy.
Yeah. We have a three
Because
penis policy.
so what that basically works like is like the guy who is most 99.9% of the time a straight guy gets to date all the girls he wants, and his girlfriends can only date girls. They are not allowed to have another boyfriend.
Yeah. Because at that point it's not really polyamory. It's like a hierarchical, not patriotic, patriarchal, um fucking like, I want to fuck all the women and not have to worry about the consequences. And they better not be cheating on me, those stupid bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so against that because it is antithetical to the freedom and the openness that is meant to come with polyamory,
Yeah,
in my
definitely.
mind. Like, that's not how relationship, like that kind of restrictiveness, because it basically says, because if things were fair and equal, the guy would only be able to date guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
All things being equal, the guy would only. But that's not how it works because it's always a straight guy that heads up those kinds of fucking harem environments.
I
And I fucking
remember
hate it.
I remember there being a wife swap episode where it was a polyamorous couple with a guy and two women, but I remember he was actually not that bad. But maybe I was just like
Look,
trying to
a
defend
guy
a
and
polyamorous
a
couple because
woman.
the two women were very nice. The two women were very nice.
That's the thing is that a guy with two women doesn't
No.
necessarily mean that he's enforcing a one penis policy. That may just be the woman's choice,
Yeah.
you know? But if a guy is enforcing that, if you're looking into the world of polyamory or considering it, and you talk to your male partner, obviously speaking to women on this one specifically, but and they talk about not being able to date other guys, that's not the guy.
Yeah,
That's not the
that's
guy
not the
you do that with.
polyamory. Yeah.
That's not polyamory. That's not the guy you do that with.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
Yeah, polyamory is not something you can really do if you're straight, really. Like, not properly at
Yes, you
least.
can.
You can, but
Yes, you can.
you can, but I feel like it's not a straight
Because
coded
how's
thing.
this? A straight woman in a polyamorous relationship not dating other women.
Yeah, it'd probably because there's different like societal like influences there that would be there for the guy dating two women rather than women dating two guys. And I'm fine with both of them. But I feel like just like polyamory as a concept is not very straight leaning. It's not a very like straight thing, you know?
When it's healthy polyamory, almost 99% of the time, it is usually LGBT people.
Yeah. At least
As
bisexual
far
people
as
or
my
pansexual
experience
people.
goes.
Yeah. People who swing both ways
I
and
mean,
stuff.
I would class bisexual and pansexual under LGBT, but you know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying especially them. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Because then
But
it's like everyone's involved. Everyone's here.
how's this for a
Yeah.
perspective?
Yeah.
Do you think a monogamous person could date a polyamorous person in a healthy relationship?
It depends on the person. I say that a lot, mostly because like
It
I'm
really
influenced by
does. That
David,
is
but it
kind
really
of
does
the
depend
right
on the person.
answer.
It does depend on the person. I think it's possible, yeah, because I used to think I was monogamous until I was dating David, and then I learned David also was like kind of dating other people, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought like I couldn't handle this, and then I was like, no, I can definitely handle this. And yeah, so like I think yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's the deep cuts, right? If we're gonna be talking about this topic, why are you polyamorous and not
Because
monogamous?
I like two people and I like them. I love them
Mm,
equally. I don't.
it's not the healthy answer that I was
Well, what would the
over.
answer be? Like, I mean, like that's the base reason of it. I don't really view relationships as a thing that need to be monogamous or anything. My views on relationships and marriage are very much like a do what you want sort of thing. Um, and
So I'm
like
fully in the belief that much like you have friend groups
yes,
and you have, you know, let's just make this really American coded. There's friends that you'll go sit and watch the football with,
and then there's
right?
friends you uh
You'll go to like the Rammstein concert with.
yeah
And those two friend groups may not overlap. You may be the person who likes both of those, but your football friends don't care about Rammstein. Your Rammstein friends sure as shit don't care about fucking football.
yeah
So, you know, you can't heap all of your wants and needs onto one person and expect there to just be like perfect smooth sailing. Like obviously monogamy works for a lot of people, and for a lot of people like the jealousy aspect comes into it. I'm
yeah.
not a jealous person by
Neither
nature.
am I. I'm jealous over small,
And
tiny things. Like, man,
and
that
if
person's
there
really good at
is
games.
if there is something in monogamy that kind of gets to me, it's the idea that like the toxic part of monogamy.
Mm,
It's the idea that you are supposed to make that person happy.
yeah,
And if that person isn't happy, then you have to be the one to make them happy. Something else making them happy makes you jealous and unhappy. And I feel like that's incredibly toxic.
yeah. And that the thing with that is though, it's like for most people, for most relationships that go well, that never becomes an issue because it just naturally happens. But if you're not making someone happy, that's when breakups happen. But some people force through it, and they're like, that's when cheating happens, and that's when like messy breakups happen, and it's like a very like
But that is the other
normal part
side,
of it.
right?
Yeah.
Polyamory does not make cheating impossible.
No, no. You can
You can cheat.
yeah, yeah. Polyamory isn't always just an open relationship, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like that's obviously terms people discuss with each other, but
Yeah,
even in that,
you still
there
should
is
like let
still
people know,
cheating.
and you should like make your intentions clear.
Communication.
Yes, that's why it was number two, tied with one.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, look, people obviously have a certain image of polyamory.
Hence, and
As
point this.
the case in point that like thumbnail and
Yeah.
sort of rhetoric around that thumbnail. I mean, as you said, like maybe the video is not so bad content-wise, but that is what
Yeah.
people are clicking on.
Yes. And I remember actually the comments when I clicked on the video pretty much as soon as it went up, 55 minutes or something like that. And the comments were generic YouTube comments that are awful, but they were like, polyamory is like communism where it works on paper, but in practice, greed and jealousy take over. And it's like, no, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think you might be speaking from the heart about your own greed and jealousy.
That's kind of like the image of like the perspective of those people who don't feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, it's like when you have depression, for example.
Just stop being
and you
sad.
go out and you tell people I have depression, and then you get those people who don't believe you or don't listen to you when you say those things.
Well, you were just smiling the other day.
Because they're not experiencing it.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are like, oh, if I said I had all these mental health issues or something, I would, like, they would be pretending.
Yeah.
They would be faking it because they don't feel that way. They don't know what that feels like. Whereas if you're experiencing it and you're living it, then you're not pretending. But trying to get that mindset across is like, it requires a level of empathy from other people that just doesn't always come.
Some of these comments are funny, though. Your polycule is imbalanced. You have 3 DPS and a tank. You will never make it in the dungeon.
Very real. Very real.
I'm in a polyamorous relationship with my left and right hand.
I basically tended towards polyamory because of the fact of a couple of factors push me towards that lifestyle, right?
Right.
Because I've been in monogamous relationships for basically most of my life.
Right.
And the thing that happens is that I would love multiple people.
Right.
And it wouldn't detract from my love of, say, one specific person. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not a zero-sum game. You can love, and loving more people just means there's more love.
Yes.
And then the other side of it was also like the want for my partner to be happy, and the understanding that I can't provide all of the happiness that that partner can have.
Yes.
Like, I can do some things for a partner. I can be there emotionally, I can listen, I can do all that. But I'm one person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, if they're able to get something out of a relationship from somebody else that I cannot provide, why would I want them not to be able to have that in their lives?
My thoughts exactly, like 99%. Like, I don't want to get too personal with it, but there are some things that, like, I know I can't fulfill with someone, and I know people can't fulfill for me, and it's like, well, that's why it's like I'm not committed to just a one-on-one monogamous relationship, because it would make both of us miserable. Both of us would feel like we're missing out on other things. Yeah, you know?
Yeah, like I'll give a good example, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm not going to be speaking completely from my perspective here.
Right.
But for example, with the two of us,
yeah,
I know that you like being silly.
Yes. I love being
But
silly.
would you describe me as somebody who is silly to that level very often?
You get that silly whenever you're tired, high, or a mixture of the two. Or just in a good mood, like a really good mood.
But generally, I'm somebody who likes like these moments the most. The serious discussions, the talk about history and social dynamics and politics, and you know, philosophy and the meaning of things and all of that.
Yeah.
And when it breaks down to silliness, like you've seen it happen between us where I'll have a little bit of frustration there.
Yeah.
But you're able to express that sillier side with David.
Yeah, because David loves like the silliness. He likes the stupid, silly like stuff that I do. While also
Like
having a bit of what you're describing there. It's like there's like a balance between you. One of them leans more one way, the other one leans more the other way. But like, because I also do like to engage in like the more serious talks with you all the time.
Yeah. So it allows you to fulfill more of your own self, I think.
Yeah.
Like it allows you to be who you are in multiple aspects, because human beings, let's just break it down to like what it actually is that human beings are incredibly complex creatures. Each of us are very, very, as you say, like I have my silly sides as well.
Mhm.
They do come out from time to time, but my silly side is not going to be enough to fulfill what you're looking for.
Right.
And in that, like,
That's a positive aspect of polyamory at that point.
yeah, you're able to always be yourself around everybody. And as we all know, with human beings being complex creatures, being yourself doesn't mean being one way. A silly person isn't always just silly, unless they're like one of those two-dimensional NPC fucking, play Oblivion music in the background kind of people.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? Like, I will be mean to humanity. Those people 100% exist.
Oh, absolutely. I've met some people like that.
Those people 100% exist who are just one thing all the time, and you can't break them away from that.
Very coworker pilled.
Yes, that coworker who's always making sex jokes.
Oh
Because,
God.
like,
Oh my God. I have a coworker who's like pushing 50, looks 70, dating a 19-year-old
that's disgusting.
a 19-year-old who works with us.
That's actually just uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much my takes. And you know what? Like, it also, here's the other thing. Just because somebody is polyamorous or has that kind of more open relationship dynamic doesn't equal A, that they're slutty,
I knew this was
or B, that they want to fuck everybody around them.
Yeah, it is not an open invitation for you to try to flirt with them.
It isn't.
No.
Because polyamorous people can also just have friends that they're not fucking.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Like, and it doesn't, and here's the other thing I'd like to dispel as well, just immediately, is that it's not about sex either.
Mm.
It's not about sex either.
It's the romantic connections. It's romance. It's love,
It's the care and love and all of that. Like, it's not just about having sex with everybody in there, because that's like, if your relationship is determined by sex, even on a monogamous scale, that's also bad.
Yeah. Trying it back to the video here to make sure we're like that, like it's like a focused thesis or whatever. What the type of thing that they're talking about here are those sex like focused relationships where it's just about sex, and I feel like those are the ones that break down the most, and those are the ones that get the most amount of attention online. It's because that's when it's like, oh, here, look at how fucking stupid this shit is. These people all fucking massive. Look at these lines connected together. Oh, they're fucking this person. That person's fucking this person. There's no love here. They're all here for sex. You know. Like when it gets to that situation, that's when people say like polyamory is where love dies and stuff.
Yeah, and look, it can happen. It can happen.
Yeah.
But if people were more honest with each other and themselves,
Yes.
they would realize that, if you really want to make something like that work, on a long time scale, it requires connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it is. That's the word I was looking for. It's not romance, it's not lust, it's not sex, it's connection.
Well, I consider romance to be connection in a form of it.
Well, it's a form of it, but I'm talking about all like actual human
Oh,
connection.
yes.
Just on
This
that level of the base
the
core
want
level.
the want to feel desired by someone for whatever reason, you know.
Yeah. Wanting to be around somebody more than just like, oh, they're a cool friend to have.
Yeah, like I love talking to this person. I love spending time with this person. I love this person, you know.
I
That
love the way I feel when this person is around me.
yes.
I think that for me is the greatest way to put it. Is I love the feeling I feel when this person is around me.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, the deep cuts.
that stock market though. The water cooler talk, you know, just yeah, man.
Stock market though.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, we're like fucking 20 minutes over break, man. Yeah.
So yeah, very much like
very much.
people
Right,
should
yeah.
be allowed to be
Ex-
free in their
yeah,
souls.
free. That's the word.
And I feel like the modern monogamous outlook, as
Mhm.
far as mainstream mass culture goes, has turned quite toxic.
I think it's mostly a straight thing, but yes, you're correct, I think. It's
Well,
mostly
I
like
mean,
a
when I'm talking about like mainstream, like, remember,
mainstream doesn't
look,
apply straight there.
it does imply straight because, look, as much as the LGBT, not in America, is more accepted today than
Well,
it ever
no,
was
it's accepted
in
in
modern
America, just not by the
history,
government.
the people voted for the government.
Yeah, but it's still like 70% positive feelings about gay
That woman's
marriage.
going to win her Supreme Court case for being fired for being straight.
I
This
know.
is the
That's
discourse
yeah,
that's
I know.
happening right now. So, being LGBT, you know, it's more accepted now in many ways than it was throughout a lot
Just 30 years ago.
of
Just 30 years
modern
ago.
history. Just 30 years ago, just
Yeah.
20 years
20
ago,
years
just
ago.
10 years ago.
15. Well, 10's 10,
Yes, 10.
I would say a 10, yeah. 5 though, no, we were much better off 5 years ago than we are now.
Like, as early as just 10 years ago, there were still Democrats who would waffle on the "what do you think of gay marriage" question.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're supposed to be your left in America. They're not left wing, they're centrists who lean to the right. But that is the discourse of the American left wing
Yeah.
in like government.
Mhm.
Is that they still waffle on the gay marriage question, which should be an easy answer, right? Should be just like, of course, people can
Yeah.
get married.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the mainstream culture. What I'm saying is that the mainstream culture of monogamous relationships has been quite toxic.
Yeah, I mentioned them earlier, but like rage bait content about dating and stuff where it's like, look at this woman with her OnlyFans and she has like $50 million a year selling her body, and like all men are fucking, like you see people go like, yeah, I wouldn't date a man who's below 6'1", and it's like, well, he's a fucking bitch, and it's like, you get shit like that. You get shit like, oh, women only
Yeah.
date people who are fucking 8 out of 10s, and the average person in the
You would
population is a
have
2
this
out of
many
10.
digits in your bank account.
Yeah, like that type of shit. It's like it's all over the place as rage bait
Like
online,
people
but then
going out
people
on the street and
feel
being
that.
like, "Would you date a guy? Would you date a poor guy?"
Yeah,
Like to a woman,
and
and then
then they're
being like,
asking to
"I
like
know
that.
he's
Yeah,
got to at least have a Maserati."
yeah, they're like talking to drunk women on the Vegas Strip at like fucking like 11 p.m. and it's like you're gonna hear
gotta
some
have a
stupid shit.
Maserati.
He's got to have blonde hair. It's like, well, real cutting edge content here. Holy shit. But like, you see a lot of that, and then like these people like they consume it, and then they go on dating apps which are rigged and like meant to make you stay on them
Don't
more.
even
So
get me fucking
they
started
set
on
you up
dating
with
apps.
shitty fucking services and stuff, and they make dating really horrible on
Don't
purpose, so
get
you're
me
on the
down the
app
rabbit
more.
hole of dating apps.
No, the same.
Because
They're horrible.
I
They're awful.
watched a piece recently in the news about dating apps, and look, I'm not even going to get into it
They're
now.
so
I can
predatory,
tell you,
so
like,
awful.
we can joke about it after the podcast as we're chatting and stuff, but I'm not getting to.
Yeah, no, that'll be a whole can of worms. That's like a whole ass topic, you know?
But yeah, people should just meet each other, like hang out with people, and if you like each other, like take it further.
Yeah.
Do your own hobbies,
Yeah.
and other people like those hobbies will like
You'll
hang
meet
out with
people,
you.
yeah. Like we were talking about Magic Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a huge community online. You know? Fucking there's so many people to meet. People in person.
Yeah, you open the game, and one of the things that flash in front of you is join our Discord.
I might do that.
There you go, like a couple of million people who
yeah.
love the game.
Yeah. There's like card shops and stuff for that too, you know? Like there's only one card shop in my town. I might head over there, I don't know, at some point. I'd want to get more into the game though, really like commit to it. Before I do that, but like there's so many things, like not even just like traditional nerd gaming shit, like stuff at like card shops and like game shops and stuff, but like so many communities. Obviously people who play sports, the big reason of why people like sports is the community, you know?
Yeah, you go
Fucking
to
going to
the
church.
games and you meet people there. You like music, go to a concert. Do you know how many people were there?
Even
Lots. Go meet
not
them.
not even like big shows. You can go to local venues. Like in New Jersey, there's the
Yeah,
Stone
go to
Pony.
local
That's like a
shows.
huge, like very famous local venue that plays indie bands and stuff. And it's relatively affordable to get in there. There's always like some new band playing there and stuff. Like there's that type of stuff. There's I mean, like it's harder. I know it's harder for people who are outside of school, like they're adults who are out in the world to get into it because there's really no third places. There's no like, you can't really like join like a fucking a country
I will
club,
say
you
this,
know?
just right off the top. Dating people you work with is not necessarily the most healthy.
No, it's a bad thing. It's very bad.
I won't go as far as to say it's very bad,
It's very problematic.
but it has far more issues than it's worth 99.9% of the time.
Yes.
Because I'll give you an example, just like on a side note, little side tangent on that one. My mom, she was working with a married couple who were both working for the same company in the same department, doing the same job in the same office, and they were fine.
Yeah.
It's possible. But
yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Those are edge cases.
I know teachers who are married, like to each other, like in the school. Like one time but I remember the teacher changing her name mid-year.
Yes, I had teachers that were married to each other.
Yeah, it's common in those sorts of fields, all the time.
Well, I mean, look, it may seem weird to point it out, but like in an industry like teaching, that's a job that's like all your life.
Yeah, you're there for like 30
you
years.
Think school is tough? You think school is tough? In South Africa, school goes from like 7:45 a.m.
Fuck that.
To like 2 in the afternoon.
Same for us.
For the main block of the school day.
Yeah.
And then your teachers don't stop work at 2.
Oh no, not at all. No. They're there grading.
5,
They're in
6,
meetings.
7, 8.
They
got meetings. They got grades.
They take care of clubs and stuff. Yeah. They work. Yeah, for like sport. Some of them coach.
When I was in the mental clinic, there was a guy who came in, and he was a teacher, and he spent half of his free, like quote unquote, free time in the clinic having to mark papers. These are people who don't get a fucking break.
Yeah, this is why I always get angry when people are like, teachers don't even do anything. Why do they deserve a pay raise? And it's like, teachers take care of your kids for 2/3 of the year. Can you shut the
And
fuck
the
up?
other third, they're still working.
They're still doing their job.
When
And they don't get paid
people don't
anything.
understand.
Oh my
People
god.
don't understand that when there is a school break,
The teachers still do
teachers
their
don't
job.
stop.
Yeah. Like, oh, they just go
They're
on a
still
cruise.
working.
What, do they get a job as a janitor for the summer? No, fuck, they do their fucking job.
They're still doing their main job.
It's so grim knowing that this is the field I want to enter, mainly as like a college level. I want to get like my degree in history and then teach at a college level, kind of just skip over the whole public
You
schooling
will
part.
never have a break.
I know I'll never have a break, but I'd rather deal with adults rather than children, which is why I'd rather go into
That's
college.
fair, but you will never have a break.
I know I will never have a break.
Like,
But like I'm going into this
everything I've
knowing
said
all the issues. I'm knowing
is
all the issues
true.
going into it, and I'm just like, I'm ready.
Everything I've said is true from elementary level all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
But if you're doing college level, you will never stop working.
Yeah. I mean, my
You will
ultimate goal,
never stop
my
working.
ultimate dream job is to like live off of books that I wrote. You know? Funny enough, I can't
Well,
fucking
if you're
read and
doing
write.
college level, that's how you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Just don't turn into fucking Jordan Peterson.
Oh, of course I will.
Dear God. Anyway,
Yeah, we wrapping up?
I am pushing time on my
Yeah,
side here.
I was
because
looking
still
at the
need
time
to
now.
go.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it was a great time today.
be
Great time.
good to each
Yeah,
other out
some
there.
guys. Yeah.
You know what? We've crossed over politics, we've crossed over gaming, we've crossed
Animals.
over interpersonal relationship, we've crossed over into like the animal kingdom. At the end of the day, no matter where you are, what topic it is, or what you're doing, be good to each other.
Yeah. And be good to the
And don't
animals,
forget
please. Don't take those
to
hunting
like,
photos where
follow,
they have like the big
subscribe.
gun and shoot it. Yeah, like, follow, subscribe. We have a Patreon. Check that out if you want to get the episodes early and also get your name in the credits at the end of the episode. That's really cool. Follow our Twitches and stuff and all the other things we do. We love to see support. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Like Jade said, I say it too because there's two hosts. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.